The Iron Man star literally dove from the depths of Hollywood after being disregarded and undermined for years due to his constant substance abuse that led to him being arrested and fired multiple times and losing the first love of his life. But you know what they say, no great story didn't include bumps and pitfalls along the way. Here are 10 things you might not know about Robert Downey Jr. 1. He sings. And no, I don't mean while he showers or when he is alone. Robert Downey Jr. released his debut album The Futurist in 2004 after he emerged clean and sober and permanently got rid of his drug addiction. The album sales were not so great, only 16,000 copies were sold in the first week after release and it ranked an unfortunate 121 on the Billboard charts, but the world still got to see another side of this amazing man, which to me is awesome. 2. He was born into the industry. Being the son of movie director Robert Downey Sr. and actress Elsie Downey, acting runs in Downey's veins. His first appearance on screen was as a puppy in his father's film Pound in 1970. Robert Downey Sr., his father, is both a writer and a director whose work gained an underground following in the 60s. Coming from a family such as this one, it was almost impossible for Downey to do anything other than act because it was a major influence in the years as he grew up. 3. He's a high school dropout. When he was 17, Robert Downey Jr. dropped out of Santa Monica High School in California to pursue a future in acting. He moved to New York and struggled through part-time jobs while looking for an acting gig. He bussed tables, performed in off-Broadway shows and was once hired as a piece of living art in a Soho nightclub in New York City. Robert Downey Jr. is the poster kid for the saying hard work and dedication merits rewards. Take a cue from him and go out and chase after your dreams. 4. He was introduced to drugs by his father. It has been reported that Robert Downey Sr. introduced his son to the world of drugs when he was only 8 years old. Robert Downey Jr.'s father offered him a joint, marijuana, and that is how he fell into the cycle of addiction. He spent a year in jail in 1999 after spending 4 months 2 years before in 1997 for drug possession. He was finally able to sober up and break the addiction in 2002 after multiple trips to rehab facilities and multiple arrests as well. 5. He has the royal stamp of approval, the real one. In 1992, Robert Downey Jr. starred in Chaplin, which was one of his greatest performances to date. Chaplin was the biographical comedy about the life of celebrated British comedian Charlie Chaplin. The Queen of the United Kingdom, Queen Elizabeth II, herself was at the London premiere of this performance in Leicester Square. 6. Sarah Jessica Parker was one of his very first loves. Robert Downey Jr. and Sarah Jessica Parker met on the set of Firstborn when they were both merely 18 years old. They lived together for 8 years prior to their breakup in 1991. Downey has admitted on multiple occasions that his behavior was the major cause of their separation. "I like to drink, and I had a drug problem, and that didn't jibe with Sarah Jessica because it is the furthest thing from what she is," he confessed Parade in 2008. "She provided me a home and understanding. She tried to help me. She was so miffed when I didn't get my act together." After 8 whole years of living together, I'm sure that Sarah Jessica Parker did more than try. 7. The people love him. Robert Downey Jr. has taken home 4 People's Choice Awards 2 times in 2013 for Favorite Movie Actor and Favorite Movie Superhero in The Avengers, once in 2014 as Favorite Action Movie Actor for Ironman 3 and in 2014 as Favorite Movie Actor for The Judge. These were the 4 he actually won out of the 11 times that he was nominated from 2009 till date. He has been nominated 3 times for the Kids' Choice Awards, of which he won 1, and 12 times for the Teens' Choice Awards. In 2009, he was included in People magazine's annual list of sexiest men alive. He was also named as the sexiest lawyer by People magazine in 2000 for his role in Ally McBeal. 8. He's a big advocate of the Mandarin being an Iron Man movie villain. In an interview with Jon Stewart on The Daily Show, Robert Downey Jr. begged the Marvel president Kevin Feige to cast the Mandarin as his nemesis in the original Iron Man movie, but his plea was not granted then and there. Feige had plans to wait for the right time to introduce the legendary character into the popular comic. It seems as though Feige knew what he was talking about due to the wild success that Iron Man has now. 9. He loves his candy, and Italian. As one of the many stars that have admitted a weakness to food, Robert Downey Jr. once said in an interview with Vanity Fair that I would have Domino's pizza with pasta carbonara inside every slice. And at night I would have Neapolitan ice cream until I felt absolutely toxic. Talk about a sweet and a salty tooth, if there even exists such a thing. 10. He is sure that he will win an Oscar. I know it's going to happen, Robert Downey Jr. told Chris Heath in a profile for an issue of GQ. Even if I don't get one directly, eventually, they're just going to have to give me one when I get old. So no matter how you slice it, I'm getting one. If only we all had hope like Downey wins in everything he does, just like he has managed to win our hearts. Thank you for spending time with us. Make sure you subscribed.